Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our evening connection, and very unique opportunity. We shared last week about what we call the new moon of Pisces, and in the new moon of Pisces, we know that there's a very unique opportunity to inject more happiness. And they say why? Because in the month of Pisces, there was one particular holiday called Purim that is an indication of from death to life, from sadness to happiness. Right? That day is represented total happiness that coming down to this world. Now that is next Thursday night. We're going to speak about Purim next Monday. So just to make sure we know that's happening. This week is almost like a preparation for the following week. This week we call Ve'ata Tetzaveh, and you should command. You should command, or you should be in charge. Some people, we know that it's such an easy way when somebody tells you, you should be the leader, you should be the spearhead that project, right? Most of the people, when you've been given leadership, majority of the people, yes, I'll do it. You gave me this responsibility, I'll do it, I'll lead it. This week, you want to really establish a relationship with the type of a vessel that you want in life. Why? Because the goal of our life is that we will become Metzavim. We will become the people who decide for the Creator where that light needs to be revealed, where and what needs to be discovered. We need to become the people who, what we call, last week we talking about Messiah, Mashiach, is the people who bringing mind over matter. The people who controlling all elements of this reality. The people who can change, I like that idea of the pixels of the reality. Of course, if you see blurry in life, you need to add more pixels, right? You need to add more and deeper understanding of life. It added for you more pixels. Then you can make what we call an appropriate or honest or much more responsible reasons or decisions. All the forces of creation are ingrained, installed within an individual. And your job is technically to start activating them, to work. They waiting to be command. They're waiting for your command. The reality waiting for your command. But it waits for one thing. If you want to be the one in charge, if you want to be totally in control over your life, you need to be Metsuve. Very important. I'm going to speak about it years. And every year I'm going to tell you this. Why? Because that energy is available. What does it mean, Metsuve? Are you equipped, able, within your vessel, to take order from people? I know myself, when I was in the army, it was so hard to take orders from a kid that was 6 months before me in the army, right? Or that's why I wanted to be my own boss. I can't say somebody to tell me what to do. Do you work with certain rules? Are you following the rules? Are you obedient to the rules that maybe the rules that you decide for yourself? How obedient are you? Are you living by a certain code, or you change the code based on the circumstances? If that's happening, Or you break agreements because it doesn't work for me today. If you are doing that, definitely you can't be a Metsuve in this world. You can't be in charge in this world. You're just going to be a vessel who is subject to every wind and every energy that comes to take you here and there. But what does it mean? Without these ideas that I just shared, to become a Metsuve, to become a person of I would say, willing to receive orders, willing to follow the system, there's no way you will be able to be a Metsuve. What does it mean? It says the word ve'ata, listen to this, ve'ata tetzaveh. Ve'ata, it's a new. Tetzaveh is command, right? The word ve'ata, if you flip the letter, right, you get the word ha'ot, signal or a sign. A sign. Don't you think that all of us looking for signs? Where is the signs? You know, I'm looking for a sign. I need a sign, right? I need a signal. Signal me that the light is there. See, I need a signal that makes sense what I'm starting to do. Ve'ata, it's what is the sign? You are the sign. There is no sign out there. When you become the sign, now listen to this. What does it mean? Tetzaveh is the same numerical value as what we call the word Rosh, head, 501. What do you already learn? You take these two words, right? Rosh and Ve'ata. Ve'ata is numerical value 412. The same numerical value as the word Bait, house, Bait, right? Bet Yutaf, Bait. If you take the word Rosh, head, and you take the word Bait, which is Ve'ata Tetzaveh, same numerical value as Bait and Rosh, what do you get? The word Bereshit. Bereshit, Genesis. The first thing, the first book, right? Genesis. Bereshit, initial. The initial. Ve'ata tetzaveh cannot wait. You cannot wait until something happens. You need to initiate. You need to be the sign. That's why when he says that the Kabbalist Bat Ayin says all the time, Et Bnei Israel, the Israelite. Et Bnei Israel is Aleph Bet Yud, numerical value 13. 13, we know it's the ability to create unity, echad, oneness, right? So, first of all, you have to be complete. You have to be unified with yourself. If you're thinking one thing and doing the other things, you don't have unity. The thoughts, the desire, the emotion, the action need to be aligned. That's what it means Metsuve. You can't be commending on something and your mind is completely different things. Like you learn, who you want to give. Imagine somebody come to you to invest money ask you for investment. But the person is not fully in that business that he's asking you money for. Would you give them money? They tell you, yeah, I'm doing it part-time. I don't want, no, thank you so much. Yeah, maybe somebody else with a lot of money, stupid money can throw on you. No, I'm not investing in that company that is busy doing something else, right? Or this company that I'm invested, presenting themselves doing good, but they really destroying the planet. No, I'm not putting it. There, put your money, right? Where your words is. We know that you need alignment in everything internal and external as well. That's what it means, Ve'ata tetzaveh. Then, I know that the goal is to become a Metsuve, to become in charge over this physical world, over this reality, over death, pain, and suffering. We need to be in charge over that. Dictate to the reality. Be able to look at the pixels and change them, right? But only through achieving Metsuve. What does it mean? Learning to become channel to this reality. Like a radio, right? A radio device. A radio device doesn't care what music is you playing on the radio. You want 8.1, you want 8.2, no problem. You want sad music, happy music. I'm just a channel. This week, we're reading about the clothing of the priest, the regular priest, and the high priest. Kohen Idiot, the Kohen Gadol. Right? There's two types of channeling. But the idea of what we're reading over here is we're reading about the high priest, the priest of the clothing of the priest. What is this consciousness that today we want to be able to establish through today and through this understanding? Like we said, the goal is to be in charge over your life, to be in charge over everything in this reality. The only way to do that is if you become a channel to this reality. There's two realities in front of us. And the Kabbalah speaks about it in many different ways. I'll share with you, maybe I don't speak about it enough, but I'm going to share with you the idea of that and what my teacher shared with us. There's two realities over here. Etz HaChaim, the tree of life, and the tree of knowledge. Right? Two realities. You learn that from Adam and Eve, that the Creator suggests don't eat from that tree, right? And so far, we know this is not the point now to talk about the challenge that Eve had. She ate from the tree, and then they start knowing, right? There's two realities over here. Now, is it a physical tree? The Kabbalah never speaks about anything physically in this world. It's consciousness of tree of life and consciousness of tree of knowledge. Our goal is to be able to be in both. In both. Now I'll explain to you how, and I hope it will be slowly clear. I don't have much time, but as much as we can get. What is the tree of life? Tree of life is a reality that everything in living in this reality, everything is new. Like a goldfish. 2 seconds ago, oh wow, that's a new thing, right? Almost like, it might be like almost like naive for everything, right? But the tree of life is everything is new. Everything, you are new. Tomorrow you wake up, boom, new from the beginning. Everything is from the beginning. Everything, Bereshit, everything Genesis, everything from day one, again and again and again, from the beginning. Imagine you married and every day your wife or you're dating somebody and your wife or your husband looks new, right? Wow. It's very inspiring to wake up to a new relationship, a new thing, right? Not the old. Tree of life, it's all pure. All pure. Nothing is wrong. Tree of life consciousness is clean. Everything is clean, everything is pure, everything is amazing. In truth, amazing, fascinating, exciting, right? Super exciting or surprising, right? Everybody like, wow, what a surprise, wow, miraculous. Tree of life, it's all miraculous reality. Tree of life is when you see the pen connected to your glasses. Right? What's the connection? No, no connection. Yes. Tree of life, you see how everything is one thread. One beautiful thread that is connected. Right? Tree of life is endless. This is the reality of tree of life and more. But the majority of that, this is what it means. What is tree of knowledge? Tree of knowledge, it means if you hear the word I know come out of your mouth, tree of knowledge. If you hear, oh, this is old, tree of knowledge. Everything is old in the tree of knowledge. The consciousness of tree of knowledge, everything is old. I'm too old. I know. I understood. It's clear. Right? Tree of knowledge is clarity. It's clear for me. That's what it is. Oh, tree of knowledge is, I've done it before. I already prayed yesterday. I already did it last year. Oh, Kabbalah, yeah, I studied that 20 years ago. Tree of knowledge. Tree of knowledge is, I don't want surprises in tree of knowledge. Everybody? Anybody loves surprises? No, I don't like surprises. Don't surprise me. I don't need surprises in life. Right? What is tree of knowledge? Stay with the devil that you know. You heard that terms? That terms of like, oh, at least it's the devil we know. That's tree of knowledge. Comfortability. When you have anything that you're comfortable with, it's already the tree of knowledge. I already rearrange so I'll be comfortable. Tree of knowledge. Tree of knowledge is an exact influence, a measured influence. I know where, I know how, I know to who. Right? A measure, right? I know the influencer, he will be all the sick, I give him that, and he will influence with the 2 billion people that's following them. I know, it's a measured influence. Measured, and I know marketing, controlled marketing. That's tree of knowledge. Tree of knowledge is also whoever have more money is the one who should decide. That's the tree of knowledge. Whoever have the experience should decide. We learn, many times, a lot of smart people made very stupid decisions, In business, you see it a lot. So there's two realities we're talking about. The tree of knowledge and the tree of life. You need to decide in which reality you want to invest. Where are your investment? If I'm invested in the tree of knowledge, I know what I'm get, I know when I get it, and I know, maybe you think you know, right? You think you know how to systems, statistics, right? Statistics, tree of knowledge. Tree of life doesn't have statistics. Tree of life doesn't have control where and when or who. Nothing like that. Where do you want to invest your energy? Tree of life, you get immortality. Tree of knowledge, you get death at some point. Where do we want to invest? The only way to awaken the level we call of tree of life is that you need to learn what he's talking about this week. Because each one of those readings, each one of those messages, and again, if you have a chance, I put it on this channel. There is obviously the Atat Etzaveh, maybe 2 years ago or 3 years ago, whatever. I went through all the details of the clothing of the priest. Each one of the items is indication of a certain level of consciousness. I highly recommend to look at them and to know what's available and the work that you need to do. I'm not going to go into it right now. I went through all of these items. Today, I'm taking it as according to my teacher that told me to do that. Decide each one of us, because next week is Purim. There is the me before, and there's the me after. There's the me connecting to it through the tree of life, or to awaken tree of life, or I'm connecting through an awakening more of the tree of knowledge in my life. Now again, this is consciousness, it's not a certain tree. There's a story I want to share with you because I hear this story for so many years from my teacher. And I always thought that this story is, outdated, and it's still probably outdated. But there was one moment that I understood this time of the consciousness that is related to what we're learning today. So the story goes that there was this guy, a few hundred years ago. He wanted to marry the daughter of the local rabbi. And he had to be a wise student, somebody is educated and so forth. So we know that the father went and collect dowry for the wedding, with all the students and everything, and make a very big wedding. And the kid that he married, the child that married his daughter, wasn't that much of a business person, but he was a learned and very much educated spiritually. So after the wedding, the father comes and listen, this is like in the measure of today, maybe not today, but this is $100,000 to start your life, right? They got married, he got the money, thank you, The father, later on, just cutting the story a little bit shorter, the father-in-law tell him, listen, the market over here. What I recommend to you is to go buy some products and come tomorrow, whatever, go to the other market and sell them to other people, right? You have money. You can buy and sell and make some profit. Oh, wow, what a great idea. You can make more money, and also you should be busy and making more money and making so you can sustain your family. Long story short, this kid goes to the market, and this guy come and tell him, listen, I have black or red velvet, velvet, the material. He says, do you want to buy? I'm going to sell it to you, in 2 cents, right? For the whatever, the yard, whatever they call it. 2 cents for the yard, I sell it to you. No, he says 10 cents for the yard. He says, no, what do I need? He says, buy some, because maybe, who knows, maybe the price will go up and you can charge, instead of 10 cents, you can charge this. No, I don't understand. I don't know. He says, buy it. How much money you have? He says, I have $100,000. He says, listen, for that, I give you all my supplies. This is millions of yards of black velvet. You will be the only one who have black velvets around the whole continent. He says, me? He says, yeah. Boom. Okay. He bought it. He bought the whole stock. He goes home. He goes to the father-in-law. Goes, sees him. He says oh, how was it in the market? He says, oh, what a great thing. He says, what? He says, I bought all this black velvet. He says, what? Okay, why did you buy? He says, I bought, He says, how much you bought? I bought it the whole money in $100,000. How much did you buy? He says, I bought everything. He says, what? What do you do with all of that? He says, I don't know, maybe the price will go up. The guy, instead of 10 cents for the yard, he gave me for 2 cents for the yard. So I thought it's a good deal. He says, but what do you do? You can now, he tell him, for years, you're going to go to the market, you're going to sell maybe a piece. It's going to take you years to see back your money. Years. Not even finishing the conversation. Coming to town, all the soldiers came to town. Like a big, like an army unit coming into town, going to the market. All of a sudden, what do they ask? who have black velvet? He says, what? Why? He says, we need the king is coming to town, and he requested that he will only going to walk and cover the whole kingdom with black velvet. So we need black velvet. So they say, oh yeah, this kid have all this black velvet. Long story short, he comes and tells them, listen, I know, how much do you want? We want everything you have. He said, everything you have. He said, okay, I'll give it to you. He didn't want to really be stingy, but he says, okay, he's thinking in his mind, I bought it for 2 cents. I'll sell it for 10 cents. He tells the soldiers, he said, okay, 10 cents for the yard. He says, joking, we're going to give you half, almost like $1 per yard. That's our budget. He says, no, I'm saying 10 cents. They thought he was joking, and doing bargaining with them. And they gave him almost like $1 per yard. The guy became super rich, super known in 1 second. Now, that's the story that my teacher tells in many situations. Black velvet story. Everybody, if you study with my teacher, you probably heard that story. Probably he's telling it much more funnier than me. But what is this story? What is this story? This is the story because if I'll ask this kid tomorrow and do the same deal, what do you think will happen? He's already, now the next time he's already, I know. All of us, the first deal, connected to the tree of life. We have no fear. We have no worries. We have absolute certainty. We are there. First time when you do something, you're pure. You are like tree of life. The second one, right? That's why we know where did it came the tree of knowledge. When Eve took the first bite, that wasn't disconnected. It's when she took the second bite, that was the disconnect. It's the first deal. We are absolutely pure. We have no idea. The kid doesn't know what he's doing with his money. He doesn't even know what $100,000 mean. Only after become smart or become the I know. But that is already a disconnect. That's already, you're not going to go to the investor and says, give me $1 million. I want to invest in building a new Caesars. What? What new Caesars? Yes. $1 million for that. Right? We are the first time, or when we don't know something, wow, pure. The second we are successful, the second we did overcome something, we falling into the tree of knowledge. I know. Now I'm smarter. Now I have something to lose. Many people think they have something to lose. That's why they're not moving. That's why they're not pure. They're in the knowledge. So what, baby? I don't know. No. Let me give you the idea over here. To stay connected to the tree of life in the next deal is very hard. It's funny. An example, right? Yesterday, I get this. There was an Oscar. Yesterday was the Oscar winning, right? So one of the actors, I actually forgot his name. Very known. He have a big nose. Was a Jewish guy. I forgot his name, but he says something uniquely important to what I just studied before. So I'm listening to this. I was like, oh my God. It's amazing that he's saying that. It's a message what I'm sharing today. So he says, thank you for, thank you, Adrian Brody. Thank you. Somebody told me. So he said, thank you for this, and amazing, blah, 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 rah, 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 everything is good. Then he says something unique. He says, now I have to start all over again. Now it's just the beginning, he says. And this is the idea. How many of us wants to start where we finish? Not from the beginning. That's the tree of knowledge. The tree of knowledge telling you, yeah, you already know, you have a head start. You're not fresh. You're not new. And therefore, you are not built for success. You're not built for greatness. You're built for something mediocre. So maybe the growth will be lateral, not exponential, not completely outrageous. This is what we want, and this is what we're channeling to this world. I achieve something. Most people immediately have a laid-back consciousness. No. I'm already falling into the tree of knowledge. I need to stay connected to the tree of life. That's why it says, by the way, if you say, Metsuve, and you tell them the Creator is commanding them to be the people who decide and dictate for this reality. And then he says, Kach lecha, and then you take shemen zait zach katit. He said, you have to take an oil, very pure oil, and what do we learn from that oil? Oil represents wisdom. But the secret is that when they speak about the oil that was used into what we call the candelabra, or the oil that was used to Ner HaTamid, to the one light that was always shining over there, they only used the first 6 drops of the oil. The first drops of the oil, they are the purest. That's the idea. Because if you come up with, I have a lot of experience, you have too much knowledge, you're probably biased into all your ideas. You cannot be fresh. I need someone fresh, someone who is 6 years old to give me an idea. Not like 60 years old, but the age, the knowledge, and this. Yes. I'm not saying no, I'm saying you have to be in 2 places. That's why I try, to bridge these 2 worlds, because we're still in the world of knowledge. We're still in the world of experience, right? But at the same time, we can't be thinking big. We can't thinking broad. That's the tree of life. That's the idea. Because most of us, want to stay in the consciousness of Ata, Ani, I know what I'm doing. But we're not channeling anymore. So, more that, this is the one portion, the one section of the Torah that it says that Moses' names is not mentioned. Now, I think it's a joke, because why? It says, when Israelite fell in the golden calf, which actually literally happening next week, the following week, not this week, but it says, Mecheni na misifrecha asher katavta. Erase me from your book. That's what Moses says. Erase me from your book because of the damage I created to this world. By, taking responsibility on the Israelite. Therefore, this week, his name is not mentioned. But if you learn the code, it says, Mecheni is the same word, Mechayeni, revive me. The same word. Now, we're reading it wrong. But what Moses is telling us, when your name is not there, you get to be alive, you revive. When you are not in the picture, now the picture works better. When you are not involved, when you are a channel for the wisdom, when you are a channel for the art, when you are a channel for the business, when you are a channel for your employees, Mechayeni, gives you life. When your name is not all over the project, that is when it's become even bigger and bigger. Because you took yourself out of the picture. So, beautiful, beautiful consciousness to awaken for ourselves and to decide, do I want the tree of life type of style or the tree of knowledge and my ego? We know, as I told you before, the word ve'ata is ha'ot, the sign. Sign. You need a sign. You're looking for signs, right? Here, in this reading, it only speaks about a lot of that, of the Urim and Tumim, the breastplate of the priest, and the clothing, and many these. Please look into the old classes I gave. It's all the description is there, and you can really connect to it. But we learned last week that we have the holy temple inside of us. We have the temple internally inside. Who was allowed to enter to the temple? Only the priest. A regular priest and a high priest. If you not taking upon yourself the priesthood of your own life, what is a priest? A Kohen is a channel. He didn't have any possession of his own. His clothing was not his clothing. It was the clothing that they dressed him up. Everything in this world doesn't belong to me, like we spoke last week. In order for me to enter to my holy temple, I need to convert myself. I need to wear the clothing of the Kohen. How do I wear the clothing of the Kohen? How do I wear, what is the clothing? Right? How do I get the sign? You know the sign? I need a sign, I need a signal. It's only an internal signal between you and yourself. It's not the billboard over there. It's not the news anchor. It's not the clock, the time on the clock. It's not that. It's very nice, it is. But they appear after. First of all, when you become the sign, you remember Ha'ot? Rosh, remember I told you, Bereshit, you are becoming the sign. There is no sign out there. You are the sign. So what is the sign for you? If you identify a moment to let go, it's a sign. If you recognize, oh, I should let go. Boom, that's the sign. That's the sign that the moment that you hear the word let go, or you feel like I should let go of this, or whatever, this is the sign that you can enter to the temple. Because you let go, you enter. When you recognize that, just recognize that that's the sign that you need. A sign that you are the priest or you can enter to the temple when it's nothing to do with you. When it's nothing to do with you. You are just a channel for this. Like for example, this wisdom right now, it's nothing to do with me. Nothing. I didn't came up with any of that. It's all from the Kabbalists I'm reading for you. So I know that's a sign for me to share it because it's not about me. When you do something that you cannot stop, meaning like you share with somebody or you help or you do something of sharing that, but you cannot resist, but just do it. Or a hug or speak nicely about someone. Or when you find yourself in control over your ego. Wow, I recognize my ego. Boom, that's the sign. These are the signs. It's not this billboard, my friend. When you have an opportunity to bring joy, like I said last week, being a Messiah for somebody else, bringing someone else closer to happiness that they didn't have 2 minutes ago. Can you be a channel for, it's funny, I'll share with you. I'm speaking about it. So I'm walking with my son, it was Sunday. We're walking in the neighborhood. I took the dog for a walk, I think, or we went to the prayer, to the connection. And as we go back, on the street, we see a brand new iPhone. Not in a box, but iPhone, brand new iPhone. So I said, okay, I'll leave it. Maybe somebody will come back and pick it up. He says, you know what? No. I don't know who is going to pick it up. We saw it. We should be doing something about it, right? So he picked it up. He says, hey, Dad, can I take it? I says, yeah, it's very nice, but it's not what we do. First of all, we're looking for at least 30 days. We're going to look for the owner of the phone, right? 30 days. How are we going to look for that? We're going to look for any way to find that person. So we went to the building in front and we put it inside there's a building. And then we come about to go and said, no, you know what? I'm not sure if it's from this building. Let's take the phone. And this is all half hour. Maybe we figure out what to do with it. Spin, I said, maybe the person will call the phone, So let's keep it. keep the phone, and every time, so my kid like, so you think 30 days and then can I get the phone, right? I says, no, you're not getting the phone. It's not belong to us. We are just here to share it, right? The phone is there, and every time he's looking, he's going around and looking. Somebody call, Long story short, the whole day nobody calls. And we thought, well, and we cannot open the phone. And long story short, this girl, all of a sudden, like at night, we came back from the kids' practice, and then I see the phone ring. So I pick up the phone. It's like a young girl living next door. And again, I told her, listen, the phone is here. Why are you waiting for so long? I wasn't here. I was far away. I thought I left the phone in the house. And when she checked in the Find Me, the phone was next door to her. So she thought the phone is in the house. She came back. She didn't find the phone. She started calling it. And then she came to me. But why am I telling you this? Again, we went through all this situation. But the smile and the joy that you saw in her face when she came to pick up, it's just a phone, right? But for some people, the phone is everything. It's everything there. And you see the smile and the joy for, I think sometimes it's worth it to find something for somebody else, The joy that was there. My kid, me, we were so happy. We see the kid, this girl, biggest smile I ever saw. That is Messiah. That is to take somebody from thinking the worst case scenario to boom, right? Now again, that's easy, but that's the sign for you. Make someone else happy today. Give me the chance to make somebody else happy today. And the last point of today, very important because we're building our vessel, our connection to become connected to the tree of life. In order for me to be constantly connected to the tree of life consciousness, I need the clothing of the tree of life. Like I told you, the clothing of the high priest allow him to get into the holy temple. What allow me to enter to the tree of life? The clothing that it says that this is the only clothing or the highest clothing that a person can wear, that the Creator will right there, will listen to you. Always listen to you, but obey to what you're saying. You know what those clothing are? I'll keep it for next week. No, I'm just kidding. Trust. Kabbalah says bitachon. The clothing of bitachon, of trust. Trust what? Trust the tools. Do you trust your Creator? Do you trust in the light? Do you trust the tools, the rules that we're sharing here? Do you trust the wisdom of Kabbalah? I don't ask you to trust people. I know that people are channel of the Creator in this world. But if you trust the Creator, it's inevitable that you will trust people. But again, do you trust the sets of rules that we have? Do you trust your decision? And when you decide something, you trust that if you're going to follow your decision, it will change this world. Without trust, my dear, there are no clothing for the Creator to be part of you. Trust. This is a very important word that we need to awaken over and over, those clothing. So perform trust every once a day. I trust it's going to be fine. Not illusionary trust. You do something and then you awaken trust in everything you do. Very important to awaken bitachon. This is a very powerful clothing where you allow the Creator to be part in your life on a daily basis. So thank you for joining us. Next week I want to remind you, we're going to speak about Purim, very important opportunity for all of us. So that's next Monday. Thank you so much.